Hello everybody, welcome to the Timbers Cuisine. Today we are going to be making a meatball recipe in spinach sauce. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, click the subscribe button, like this video if you like this recipe, and let's get cooking. We're going to start by seasoning our meat with a chunky paste made out of white onions, spring onion, celery sticks, garlic and ginger. I made a chunky paste. This is going to add texture to our meatballs. I'm going to be using some dry spices as well. I'm using oregano, thyme, sage, and cayenne pepper. We'll add this to our meat as well. Some salt and pepper to taste. Adding enough salt so that everything is well seasoned before adding in our breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are going to help suck in part of the moisture from the spices as well as the meat, and our egg will act as the combining agent. So I'm adding in 1 egg. After all the spices are in, we are now going to give everything a good mix. Be gentle with your meat, mix everything inside so that all the meat can get every single part of the spices. Once everything has been mixed well, it's time for us to make our meatballs. So we are going to have to use wet hands to prevent the meatballs from getting caught onto our hands, and then we'll roll them into our pan and voila. Now into some hot oil they go, and we'll fry them until they are brown on each side. So we'll start with one side. Once they are brown on the first side, we are going to flip them over. I'm using a spoon to help me go right underneath my meatballs because I'm not using a non-stick pan, so they might have a tendency of sticking to the bottom of your pan, so be careful and be gentle. Put your spoon or whatever you choose to use at the bottom of your pan and then flip them over like so. When both sides are already cooked and brown, we are going to take them out from our pan and place them on a plate on the side before making our sauce. For the sauce, using the same pan that we fried our meatballs in, I am putting some garlic, and we're going to just fry everything, scrubbing the bottom of our pan because some small particles of meatballs could have stayed on the pan, so we don't want them to bend. So we're going to be scrubbing our pan as we fry. Once we fry the garlic for about 2 minutes, we're adding in our onions, and then we are going to be frying these onions until they are translucent. This normally takes about 2 minutes when you're frying on medium heat. Once the onions are completely fried, I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, and then we are going to be frying the tomato paste to get rid of all that corn taste that is usually found in tomato paste. I fried this for about 2 minutes and then added in some fresh tomato puree and fried that as well for about 5 minutes, or until the tomato starts to reduce in volume and we have about 3/4 of the initial mix that we had at the beginning. Now to our base sauce, I am adding frozen spinach. So these are fresh spinach that I had bought from the store and then froze them myself, so they are not the industrial frozen spinach, so there's no preservative in these ones. And to that I am adding 1 cup of chicken stock. I'm just going to move everything around for a bit and then cover everything up and let it not really boil, but just so that the ice from the spinach can melt. It takes about 2 minutes. Once that is done, our spinach is completely melted into our sauce, and we can now move it around so that everything is not lumped up all together. After spreading all of our spinach all around our pan, we are going to be adding the meatballs that we had fried. So now I'm gently going to be moving them around with my spoon so they can cover all the base of the pan and every single meatball is in the sauce so they can take in some of that sauce and that flavor of the sauce, so it can cook really well. Be careful not to mix here because the meatballs are still kind of fragile. Now, gently using my spoon, I am going to just try and move the meatballs to the bottom of the pan, making sure I'm doing it very gently not to break any of the meatballs and end up having minced meatballs instead. Covering our pot for about 10 minutes and let everything simmer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we are going to go back into our pot and put in our thickener. I'm using cornstarch dissolved in cold water and then giving everything a mix. At this point, our meatballs are a lot stronger. They are not as fragile as they were in the beginning, so we are able to give it a mix a lot easier without breaking them apart. Don't forget our dry basil. Putting in our dry basils, and then we're going to let this simmer for another 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we are going to season our sauce with salt and black pepper, putting just enough. Do remember that we already seasoned our meatballs, so this is just to season our salt and our spinach. We have not been seasoned yet. Give it all a mix. Look at that. Ooh. Do take your time to stir in the seasoning very well into your sauce, and our food is ready for serving. I had it over some spaghetti. Look at that. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, click the subscribe button for more videos. Bye bye.